There we go. Hi. Okay.
Hey, there, that's important.
Take two. Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Good afternoon. This is Pastor Mike Salmon from Harvest Christian Fellowship. And today I'm here with my wife, Suzanne. Hi, darling.
Hi.
Today we are going to be doing Afterburn. And Afterburn is a time when we reflect on how our Sunday morning went and what we talked about at church and everything. Because we know sometimes during church it just goes so fast sometimes, right?
Ridiculously fast.
You're just there, you're like, boom, next thing you know, it's over. And there's some stressful points that you wish you would have elaborated more and things like that. Have you ever done that?
No, I say everything perfectly the first time.
I'm sure you do.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I believe that. There's times I've like said something and said, man, you know, I wish I would have said this a little bit more clear or something. You know, we're in Romans chapter 10. We just got done with Romans chapter 10. And in Romans chapter 10, it talks a little bit about how important it is, you know, how God had reached out to Gentiles and how important it is for us to take that same faith and the same word message that saved us and to take it out into the world and to preach the gospel to the world and to the people. And even if they reject it and people push it away, God still has a plan and a purpose, and it's dependent on us to do something about it, you know? So I want to encourage you guys all to reach out, to preach the gospel. And, you know, if they're not going to believe unless they hear. And they're not going to hear unless someone says something, and no one's going to say something unless they're sent. Well, God sent us to preach the gospel, to tell people about Jesus. Matter of fact, this coming up Sunday, we should have our Bible Gospels and church cards and everything coming out. So we're excited about that. So I want to kind of encourage you to tune in. If you missed Sunday service, make sure you tune in and watch it. Also, don't forget our Wednesday night at 7:30, our interviews, and then our Friday night at 8 o'clock Bible studies. Okay, right. And we're going to be bringing Pastor Toby in for Bible studies, so that Pastor Toby and I will be able to share the word and be able to share with you.
Yes.
What you guys talk about?
That's a win-win situation.
That is a win-win situation.
Because Pastor Toby, my dad, gets to be here, and I get to see my mom at the same time. Fantastic.
All right,
and you get to hang out with your mother-in-law, no, you know what? Our kids, I am so proud of them. In service today, I did recognize my kids in the service that were doing exemplary. You know, I have some kids that are not there every week because of, you know, parent situations. But there's one of my kids that just did really, really well. And I wanted to make sure I took the time and acknowledge them in service. And I want to say again, congratulations to my kids. Fantastic job. Keeping up with your homework, doing what you're supposed to be doing, listening. You know, it's a blessing to me to see them learning and doing so well. But in our class, it's funny, you were talking about you know, being used by God. We were talking about the plagues of Egypt. Yep. So we're to that point in the story in chapter 7 where Moses goes and Aaron go to Pharaoh, and he goes through all of the plagues. And we talked about how the fact that even though Pharaoh, who doesn't even know God, doesn't recognize God, acknowledge God, but God still used him.
That's right.
You know, God moved in him, and God did what he did. You know, there were times that the Bible says that Pharaoh hardened his heart, but there were times that the Bible says that the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart. And so that's one of the things, amongst all the things we talked about how, you know, God moves in all kinds of circumstances.
For his purpose.
And it's for his purpose, because his purpose was to let the people of Israel go. And that was his purpose. And he moved in the people, not only in Pharaoh, but you also see he moved in the servants and the people of Egypt. Because by the time that they left, they were handing them stuff like, here, take this and go, you know. Yeah. And so they were blessed that God used those people that are not his people to bless his people. Yeah. So it's awesome, you know, and it's amazing because the kids, you know, they think of flies or, you know, like one of the instances we talked about flies, and they were like, oh, flies. I'm like, no, you don't understand the amount of flies, you know, and lice and locusts and boils, and we talked about all of these, and by the time we left, they were just like, that's crazy. Yeah. You know, and the fact they went through all of that, and still Pharaoh wasn't letting him go. Mm-hmm. So it was a blessing. It
is. You know, that's kind of what we kind of talked about in Romans 9 about a couple months ago on Romans chapter 9, where it talks about how God used Pharaoh for his purpose.
Well, if you're on Romans chapter 10, I pray that Romans 9 didn't happen a couple of months ago. Otherwise, I think you should speed up your...
well, about 3 weeks ago.
You should speed up your preaching a little bit.
September, beginning of September. So anyway, it was a great thing. That's awesome. We saw the awards that were given and stuff like that. We'll hopefully post some on Facebook and other accounts. Also, want to ask you to continue praying for Harlan. Please continue praying for Pastor Jamal, for Bob, and others. Remember, this month we are in our prayer and fasting month. So continue keeping us in prayer. We love you guys. It's so great seeing many of you guys.
Amen.
Haven't seen a couple of you in a while, but it was nice seeing your faces. Great seeing the church continue to grow.
Amen.
Great seeing that. Thank you guys for your great support. We love you guys. May Christ be with you, and we'll see